Hi everybody, welcome to Bad Barry's Bar. Well, for a change, we're out to a friend of mine's house in the country. He's got a beautiful old house, Coes Mill, and I have with me my grandchildren and some of their friends. And they are all anxious to be film stars and TV stars, and they're going to tell you some of their favourite jokes. But let me start off with one first of all. This one concerns a policeman. He's in his patrol car and he's driving slowly down the street watching what's going on, and he sees this little old lady and she's got two big black filled up trash bags and she's dragging these up the street, and he's thinking whatever's she doing, and all of a sudden one of the bags splits and $5 bills come sliding out. So he drives over and he says, "Ma'am," he said, "look, that bag of yours is split and you're losing $5 bills." But the old lady bends down and she picks them up and puts them in her purse. She said, "Oh, thank you, officer, thank you so much." And the officer said, "Oh, I've got to ask you, ma'am." He said, "Where did you get all these $5 bills from?" He said, "You're not selling drugs, are you?" And he said, "Oh, no, no." He said, "You're not laundering money for somebody else, are you?" She said, "Oh, good Lord, no." He said, "Well, where did you get all these $5 bills?" And she said, "Well, officer," she said, "I'll tell you." She said, "My backyard backs onto the car park at the local football stadium." And she said, "After the game, these drunken fans come out and they come through the bushes at the end of my garden, they start peeing on my flower beds." She said, "I put signs up, no trespassing, private property. These old drunks come through the bushes and start peeing." So she said, "What I do now," she said, "when the game is ending, I go out and I hide in the bushes with a big pair of garden shears. And when these guys come through and get started, I say, $5 or off it comes." And the cop said, "My God, I've never heard of anything like this." He said, "That's amazing." He said, "And is that other sack full of $5 bills?" She said, "Oh no, some of them don't pay." Well, what do you expect? Okay, well now you know my granddaughter Christy. She's just bursting to tell you that this latest one that she's got, so be prepared. Okay, Christy, the floor's yours.
All right, so these two blondes are sitting next to each other chatting, and one of them says to the other, "Hey, do you smoke after sex?" And the other one says, "I don't know, I've never really looked."
Just another friend of ours here, and this guy's a serving member of the Navy, so you know we wish him all the very best. It doesn't mean to say he doesn't know good jokes, he probably knows better ones than I do, but... Okay, Sawyer, the floor's yours.
So there are two brothers. They were both born deformed. One had huge eyeballs smack dab center of his face. The other one was born with two very, very large ears. And all through grade school, they were made fun of how they looked. It was always hard for them to get a job when they were looking after school. So they're down at the docks, working, the only job they can get. This old tramp steamer comes in. The captain's like, "Well, I really need some men to work these lines." He says, "Well, how about you two? You come, and you with the big eye, you can be up on the mast. You can be our lookout. You with the big ears, you can be a deckhand, swap the decks." They both say aye. They join the captain. But one night, they're out in the middle of the ocean. So the brother on the mast is looking out over the horizon. He says, Captain, there's a ship on the starboard bow." The captain says, Where? Can't see it." He gets his eyeglass out, and he looks beyond. And he says, "Oh, there it is, right out there." He says, "Yes, sir. I think it's a Chinese junk." He says, "Well, how do you figure?" He says, "Well, my brother heard him talking."
I might say that was a load of junk, but now I've got my grandson, Christy's brother. Okay, what have you got there, Daniel?
There's a guy that has a toothache, and he goes to the dentist, and you know they take a good look at it and really get in there and inspect. And they say, "You know what? I think the whole thing's going to have to come out. But don't worry, we can give you an injection, and it won't hurt you at all. You won't feel a thing." And the man looked and he thought for a second. He looked back and said, "No, I don't think that will work. I had a bad experience with that once, and I fainted, and I don't want to go through that again." The doctor paused for a moment and thought, "Oh, you know what? Don't worry. I have another solution. We can give you gas, and that won't hurt at all." The man said, No, that won't work either. I've had gas, and I was sick for days. I could never do that again." And the doctor paused for another second and walked to the back, and he came back holding a cup and a small pill. And he placed it in front of him. So, "Here, take this." Oh, what's this for? What is this? He said, oh, this here. This is Viagra. This will give you something to hold on to while I take your tooth out. I hope you like that one.
And Leah's got one for you. Okay, Leah, what have you got for our good
All right,
friends today?
So, marriage has 3 rings. First, you have the engagement ring. Then you have your wedding ring. Following that is suffering.
This lady was coming out from the cashier's bay at the supermarket, and she had all the usual tins of food and what have you, and then she had a big tray of cat food. So as she went through, the cashier said, my goodness, she said, you must really love cats to have all this cat food. And the woman said, no, I don't have any cats. She said, well, why'd you buy cat food? She said, well, my husband loves cat food. And the cashier said, you can't give him cat food, you'll kill him. She said, no, he loves it. So out she went. Well, the next week she's back again, another load of cat food. And the cashier said, is this for your husband? She said, oh yes, I told you, he really loves it. The cashier said, well, I tell you, giving him cat food, you're going to kill him. And this goes on for several weeks. Well, then one day the lady comes through the checkout, no cat food. So the cashier said, what, no cat food today? And the lady had a long face, said, well, I hate to say it, but my husband's dead. So the cashier said, well, you know, I don't mean to be mean, but I've been telling you for weeks that cat food's going to kill him. She said, oh no, it wasn't a cat food, she said. He was crossing the main street and he sat down to scratch himself and he got run over by a truck. Well folks, that's all we've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll have some more for you a little bit later on. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.